Welcome, dear listeners and fellow paranormal seekers, to the eerie tales surrounding the infamous Aradale Asylum, a place steeped in history, mystery, and a lingering darkness that transcends time. As I delve into the shadows of this Australian psychiatric hospital, nestled in the rural town of Ararat, Victoria, the very essence of the paranormal beckons us from its haunted past. Picture this, listeners. The year is 1867. The Aradale Asylum emerges as a looming structure destined to house the tormented souls of psychiatric and intellectually handicapped patients. For over a century, it served as both sanctuary and prison, cradling nearly 1,000 individuals at the peak of its grim occupancy. The walls, witnesses to the silent screams and the whispered despair of those trapped within. Aradale, a colossal entity encompassing 665 acres, stands as a testament to its bygone era when it was more than just an asylum. It was an entire self-sufficient city within its confines of a city. The sprawling complex, with its 65 heritage-listed buildings, occupies a substantial 5-acre expanse atop a hill, casting a shadow over the town of Ararat. The very geography of Aradale, perched on high ground, seems to echo the isolation and secrecy that enveloped the macabre enclave. Intriguingly, Aradale's architectural legacy includes a unique and haunting feature shared with other early Victorian asylums: the use of what is known as ha-ha walls surrounding the patient's court. These walls, more than mere physical barriers, played a psychological role in the eerie theatre of institutional control. Imagine a trench on one side of which rises vertically and is adorned with stones or bricks, while the other side slopes gently, adorned with turf. This devious design created a disconcerting illusion. From the inside, the walls presented an imposing face, a formidable barrier that discouraged any thoughts of escape for the confined patients. Simultaneously, when viewed from the outside, the walls appeared deceptively low, cleverly concealing the grim reality within and avoiding any overt suggestion of imprisonment. As I envision these architectural nuances, one can't help but feel the weight of the oppressive history that unfolded within the labyrinth corridors of Aradale. The institution, once a self-contained world, now echoes with the silent screams and forgotten tales of those who were entangled in its web of despair. Join me as we traverse the expanse grounds of Aradale, peeling back the layers of time and revealing the secrets that lie hidden within its heritage-listed walls. The ha-ha walls may crumble, but the echoes of the past persist, resonating through the very soul of this enigmatic city within a city. Now fast forward to my own harrowing journey to Ararat, a path paved by ominous signs and atmospheric premonitions. I was travelling from the Great Ocean Road, which was usually serene, but on this day it was transformed into a foreboding spectacle, with stormy clouds and torrents of rain heralding the impending descent into the heart of darkness. The air crackled with otherworldly energy, setting the stage for the unearthly encounters awaiting for me as the night unfolded. As I navigated the long, desolate driveway, each twist and turn only deepened the unsettling feeling that I was stepping into a realm where reality and the supernatural intertwined. The relentless rain drummed a haunting melody on the roof of my vehicle, a symphony of foreboding that echoed the tales of Aradale's tortured past. The darkness of the night seemed to conspire with the shadows, concealing secrets that begged to be unveiled. Finally, emerging from the obscurity of the drive, the sprawling Aradale Asylum materialized before me. a colossal white monolith imposing its ominous presence upon the landscape. The building stood as a silent sentinel bearing witness to decades of anguish and despair. Its grandeur, both majestic and foreboding, instilled a sense of trepidation that clung to the very air. With each step towards the entrance, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was entering the opening scene of a horror movie, where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. The air grew thick with an unspoken history, as if the walls themselves whispered the chilling narratives of the souls that once called Aradale home. As I lingered outside, waiting for the next phase of my investigation to unfold, an inexplicable sensation enveloped me. The uncanny awareness of unseen gazers fixated upon my presence. It was as though the very air crackled with an eerie energy, a palpable sense that I was being watched by unseen eyes. The stillness of the night seemed to amplify this unsettling feeling, casting a veil of anticipation over the surroundings. The whispers of the wind carried with them an enigmatic chorus of whispers, whispers that weren't spoken, but felt. A symphony of spectral murmurs that hinted at the ethereal audience fixated on my every move. Now, the sensation wasn't born solely of my imagination. It resonated deep within, stirring an instinctual response. A primal awareness tingled at the edges of my consciousness, heightening my senses to the presence of spectral entities that lingered within the shadows, their gaze an unseen weight upon me. Now, despite the absence of physical forms, I couldn't shake the distinct impression that I wasn't alone. The unseen onlookers seemed to observe, their spectral curiosity woven into the fabric of the night. It was an indescribable feeling, one that transcended the tangible, casting a spectral cloak over the moments before my next venture into the unknown depths of Aradale. As I moved to embark on the next leg of my exploration, the sensation persisted, lingering like a ghostly whisper at the edge of perception. The haunted feeling of being under scrutiny lingered, a testament to the enigmatic presence that dwelled within the haunted confines of this historic site. Entering the hallowed grounds of Aradale, I was unprepared for the overwhelming surge of emotions that gripped me before even stepping foot into the heart of the asylum. It was an intensity unlike anything I had encountered before. Typically, my senses would awaken upon entering a building, but this time, the very air pulsated with an energy that seemed to saturate the expansive grounds. As I approached the main building, bathed in a dim glow of a solitary light, an inexplicable flutter of butterflies danced in my gut. The anticipation hung thick in the night air, signaling the eerie journey that lay ahead. True to my approach, I ventured into this exploration with no preconceived notions, no prior research clouding my perception. Standing before the colossal iron gates, I marveled at the palpable energy that enveloped me, a force that seemed to transcend the mere physicality of the imposing walls. My first destination was the mortuary, and the enormity of the brick walls surrounding the asylum struck me as overpowering, almost confrontational. Once within its confines, a sense of entrapment settled in, the realization that there was no easy escape from this place of lingering shadows. Passing by a peppercorn tree, I couldn't help but recognize its sinister purpose. to mask the morbid odours coming from the mortuary. Now, listeners, despite being forewarned that the mortuary was a relatively inactive site, I soon realized that my tour guide had provided me with a deceptive sense of security. As I entered, the autopsy table greeted me. It was cold, sterile, and was accompanied by an unpleasant scent that permeated the air. I politely declined the opportunity to lay on the chilling metal surface. Soon after, we extinguished our lanterns, plunging the room into darkness. I politely declined the opportunity to lay on the chilling metal surface. Soon after, we extinguished our lanterns, plunging the room into darkness. Now, in that instant, the energy of the room shifted, becoming charged with an otherworldly presence. My attention turned to a friend in the opposite corner, their form illuminated by the faint flicker of the K2 meter. Capturing the moment with a photograph, I later discovered the gravity of the connection. My friend had communed with the spirit of a physician, a towering figure standing behind them. Now, as for me, I was clad in a white fluffy jacket. Then suddenly, I felt a peculiar sensation, a subtle movement up and down my arm, as if an unseen presence was playfully acknowledging its existence. It was a moment of connection, laced with enigmatic humor that transcended the boundaries between the living and the ethereal. The mortuary, once shrouded in misconceptions, revealed itself as a stage where the paranormal unfolded, leaving an incredible mark on those who dared to venture into its chilling embrace. Lost in the eerie ambience of the mortuary, time seemed to warp and stretch, creating an illusion that I had lingered within its chilling confines for hours. In reality, a mere 10 minutes had slipped away like phantoms in the night. Exiting the mortuary felt like emerging from a timeless cocoon, the residual energy clinging to my senses as I ascended the hill towards the next enigmatic chapter of Aradale, the imposing men's ward. As I ventured onward and upward, the air seemed to grow heavier, laden with the weight of the asylum's storied past. The winding path led me to the men's ward, a structure shrouded in whispers and echoing with the distant footsteps of tortured souls who had once traversed its corridors. The dim glow of the solitary light posts cast long shadows on the weathered walls, heightening the palpable sense of anticipation that clung to the evening air. As the group continued its solemn journey, I found myself straying a bit, drawn to the architectural details that adorn the sides of the building. Even before my guide shed light on them, my flashlight flickered over the intricate carvings etched into hard stone, capturing their haunting beauty in the lens of my camera. These carvings, masterpieces in their own right, seem to tell a silent tale of the relentless passage of time within the asylum's walls. As my torch illuminated their weathered features, a profound sense of sadness settled over me as I recognized the immense effort and time invested by the hands that had shaped them. The hard, unforgiving stone bore the marks of years, decades even, of meticulous craftsmanship, a poignant testament to the enduring legacy of those who had inhabited these haunted walls. The intricate detail woven into each carving spoke of a dedication that transcended the boundaries of the physical world. It was evident that the individuals behind these creations had poured not only skill, but also an abundance of time and emotion into their work. The carving stood as a silent witness to the countless days spent chiseling away at the unyielding stone, a labor of love and despair. As I gazed upon these intricate works, their silent presence seemed to echo with the collective weight of the stories they held. The sheer endurance required to bring such artistry to life within the confines of an asylum was both awe-inspiring and heart-wrenching. The carvings bore witness to the silent struggles, the hopes, and perhaps the despair of those who had sought solace in their creation. Their presence lingered in the air, leaving an indelible imprint on my senses. The intricate carvings, though physically stationary, seemed to pulsate with the emotions of the past, reaching across the expanse of time to stir a deep and resonant chord within me. Even now, the memory of those carvings etched into the side of the building remains a moving testament to the enduring spirit and silent suffering that permeated the haunted corridors of Aradale. Approaching the entrance of the men's ward, I couldn't shake the feeling that the men's ward held secrets far more profound than the mortuary had revealed. The architecture, both grand and haunting, stood as a silent witness to the untold stories etched into the very fabric of the asylum. As the heavy door creaked open, it was as though I stepped into a realm frozen in time, a spectral theatre where the spirits of the past awaited their chance to reveal themselves. The men's ward unfolded before me like a labyrinth of echoes and shadows. Each step resonated with the unseen imprints of anguish and despair. The flickering light revealed dilapidated remnants of a once functioning institution, the decayed remnants of forgotten lives. The air hung thick with a poignant mix of melancholy and restlessness. Time once again played its enigmatic tricks as I traversed the corridor's lengths. It felt like an eternal exploration through the haunted corridors, where the boundary between reality and the paranormal blurred into disconcerting dance. The oppressive energy of the men's ward clung to me, deep into my very essence, as if the spirits themselves were reaching out to share their stories. As I moved through the labyrinth's passages, I couldn't help but marvel at the profound grandeur of the architecture against the haunting emptiness of its present state. Men's ward, a silent witness to the passage of time, whispered tales of suffering and resilience. In the depths of the men's ward, time continued its elusive dance, leaving me both entranced and haunted. Little did I know that within the next few moments, I would become entangled in the spectral tapestry of Aradale, where the shadows of the past converge with the presence, an enigmatic symphony of the paranormal. Stepping into the men's ward, a sense of apprehension gripped me, fueled by the haunting snippets of history shared by our tour guide. The air itself seemed to carry the weight of the past, heavy with residual energy from the moment I crossed the threshold. As I ascended the flights of stairs, each step seemed to amplify the building pressure, an ominous force pushing against me, accompanied by an unsettling and deeply unpleasant odour. Climbing toward what I presumed to be the third level, the energy continued to intensify, creating an almost palpable atmosphere of foreboding. Reaching a particular area, I beheld the rooms where the men once dwelled, as well as the chilling remnants of the electroconvulsive therapy rooms, also known as ECT. Electroconvulsive therapy or electroshock therapy is a psychiatric treatment where a generalized seizure is electrically induced to manage refractory mental disorders. ECT, a harrowing chapter in Aradale's history, had left its mark on the room. Chairs were arranged bearing witness to the countless souls subjected to the electrocurrent therapy. Marks on the floor told a somber tale of furniture shifting under the involuntary spasms induced by the treatment. Small burn marks testified to the physical toll exacted on the bodies of those seeking refuge within the walls. The room resonated with an overwhelming sense of sorrow, grief, and enduring pain, a testament to the suffering that unfolded within its confines. Standing there, enveloped in the heavy emotions that clung to the air, I felt a profound connection to the historical trauma endured by those who had undergone these agonizing treatments. Empathy and understanding washed over me, prompting a decision to step back from further exploration. To me, delving deeper felt disrespectful, as though probing into wounds that had never truly healed. Entering the labyrinth structure designed to disorientate even the most grounded individual, I couldn't shake the sense of being lost within this nightmarish maze. Holes in the floor, remnants of where patients once stood during ECT therapy, served as a reminder that this wasn't some distant tale of the past. It happened in our lifetime, a reality both horrible and horrendous. Now, listeners, as I climb the stairs, their gradual convergence and the descending route created an unsettling illusion of confinement. The disorientating design of the building played tricks on my senses, each door opening into unfamiliar spaces, dead ends, and a persistent question of how to escape this architectural puzzle. The pungent smell lingered, an olfactory companion to the overwhelming emotional weight of the men's ward, an experience etched into memory, a poignant reminder of the haunting reality that unfolded within the halls of Aradale. Venturing into the open ward, the atmosphere shifted once again, revealing a chilling image of locked cell rooms lining one side, and windows casting an eerie light into the nooks on the other. At the centre, a room enclosed in glass hinted at a bygone era, where the monitoring of patients was conducted with an air of clinical detachment. Armed with my investigative tools, an arsenal comprising of a K2 meter, a spirit box, and spirit balls, I prepared to unlock the secrets buried within these shadows. The oppressive smell, the assault of darkness and decay clung to the air, an ever-present reminder of the haunted history that lay dormant. The K2 meter, a silent sentinel, awaited any fluctuation in the electromagnetic field, its lights shifting from green to red, signaling the presence and strength of unseen energies. Spirit balls attuned to motion and luminescence stood ready to illuminate in response to the subtle shifts in the environment. The spirit box, a beacon of communication, provided a platform for a call and response technique, a language bridging the realms of the living and the dead. As I ventured further into the ward, the energy of the space became palpable. A connection with spirits, particularly two lingering gentlemen, stirred within the shadows. A friend, attuned to the ethereal, connected with the spirit of a previous warden named Gary. Jovial, a spectral joker with over a decade tethered to the establishment. Yet my attention was drawn to a locked cell, where a sterile and inhumane room lay beyond the glass. As my flashlight traversed the surface, a shadowy figure emerged, traversing the room, a ghostly apparition, a silent witness to the bygone agonies within. Returning back to the center of the room, the sensation of ghostly hands running up and down my jacket sleeve persisted again. A familiar touch from the mortuary. A question hung in the air. "Are you the spirit of a patient that was here?" A motion spirit ball responded, sparking a trail of queries in an attempt to connect with the unseen presence that lingered. The temperature, a barometer of the paranormal, plummeted significantly from 23 degrees to 18 degrees, a chilling echo of the spiritual energies at play. Gary the warden made a jovial reappearance, sharing glimpses of his decade-long journey within the walls. Yet my focus shifted once more to a window with a little nook, a peculiar spot that hinted at a connection to a world beyond the asylum's confines. In this moment, a friend connected with a spirit named Daniel, who with an ethereal insistence repeatedly presented the number 5, a cryptic clue to the time he spent within these haunted halls. As this encounter unfolded, an unexpected physical sensation reverberated through my foot into my leg. A subtle validation from Daniel, affirming his spectral presence. But beneath the surface, an overwhelming sense of sadness began to fill the room. Daniel, a gentleman in his 20s and a gentle soul, projected an aura of minor suffering. Yet the emotional resonance suggested a shared connection that transcended the material realm. Puzzling over the sensation, I gradually unraveled the poignant truth. Daniel's struggles might have been rooted in a torment related to his sexuality. In the middle of this revelation, a wave of pins and needles surged up and down my leg, a haunting echo of the electroconvulsive therapy that Daniel endured. As a queer gay man, Daniel's presence resonated deeply. His silent narrative unfolding a tragic chapter in our history, where individuals faced institutionalized prosecution for their sexual orientation. The lingering sadness and sorrow, a ghostly legacy of Daniel's past, clung to the air, a poignant reminder that the echoes of such injustices persisted beyond the walls of Aradale. The paranormal investigation became an unexpected journey into the shadows of societal struggles, a haunting revelation that etched the anguish of the past into my very soul, leaving a mark that transcended the realms of the living and the departed. Leaving behind the haunted corridors of the men's ward, my journey through Aradale's paranormal tapestry continued as I stepped to the enigmatic realm of the women's ward. anticipating a familiar surge of sensations, I found myself enveloped in an atmosphere that echoed with the residual energy of a bygone era. While the smells were notably milder compared to the men's ward, the palpable energy remained, a silent force that seemed to linger within the very fabric of this space. Guided through the women's ward by my insightful companion, the ambience felt distinctly different. The chaos that had characterized the men's ward gave way to a more subdued calmness, creating an ethereal backdrop for the unfolding paranormal exploration. As I embarked on a walkthrough, the opportunity to delve into the mysteries of the space presented itself once more, and I found myself drawn to a carpeted room where the spirits of the past awaited my presence. Positioning myself in the carpeted room, I opened myself to the possibility of connecting with the lingering spirits. In this realm of ethereal encounters, my friend found a conduit to the other side, establishing a connection with a spirit named Belinda, who, as the whispers of the afterlife suggested, had once worked within these halls. The women's ward, in stark contrast to its male counterpart, exuded a sense of serenity amidst the paranormal. The energy, while equally potent, felt more distant, as if the spirits observed from a tranquil distance. The sensation of being watched persisted, but it was as though the ethereal gaze emanated from afar, a subtle difference that added to the mystique of the encounter. In this spectral ballot, my choice of footwear unexpectedly played a role in provoking the energies within. Sporting boots with a wooden heel, the distinct clip-clop sound reverberated through the room. Little did I know, the auditory cue triggered a response from the spirits, evoking memories of a bygone matron patrolling the ward in her high heels. A peculiar realization dawned on me. Next time, rubber sole sneakers would be the preferred choice. A lesson learned amidst the paranormal whispers of Aradale. Moving into the next chapter of my paranormal exploration, I found myself standing at the threshold of the bathroom in the women's ward. The door was worn and weathered and creaked ominously as I entered, revealing a scene frozen in time. Two bathtubs before me, each adorned with cold, unyielding metal bars, stood as a silent witness to the grim history that unfolded within these walls. A chilling reminder of the lengths institutions would go to restrain their patients. The atmosphere within the room was oppressively heavy, laden with the residual energies of the hot and cold therapies administered to the helpless patients. A sense of horror gripped me as I imagined the torment that had unfolded here. The scalding waters of one bathtub and the bone-chilling coldness of the other. The sheer brutality of these therapies aimed at the vulnerable souls seeking refuge within the women's ward left an indelible mark on the room. Despite the apprehension that tinged the air, my purpose in investigating this room was clear. I wanted to give a voice to the silent sufferers, to provide an opportunity for the patients who endured these torturous treatments to express their pain and anguish. As I stood in the cubicle, a profound connection unfolded, and the spirit of Belinda, a nurse from the past, reached out to my friend. It was as if she sought to convey her disapproval of the heinous treatments carried out in that very room. The energy in the air shifted, and I felt an overwhelming sense of empathy for the spirits who had endured the cruelty of these therapies. Immersing myself in the role of a conduit for healing, I set up spirit bowls around the bathtubs. In moments, they began to illuminate, casting an ethereal glow that mirrored the anguish still palpable in the room. It was a haunting affirmation that even after all these years, the residual emotions of pain and suffering lingered in the spirit realm. Then, a spirit named Gloria made her presence known, reaching out to my friend through her sense of clairvoyance. At the same time, through my sense of clairsentience, I felt an overwhelming rush of emotions. Gloria's experiences, her pain, and her untold story. It was a moment that transcended the boundaries of time, forging a connection that I knew would stay etched in my memory. Paranormal tapestry of the woman's ward unfolded before us, revealing stories of sorrow and endurance that demanded acknowledgement and remembrance. It's definitely a moment that still stays with me. And just the amount of emotion and energy, it's just hard to convey that really into words. It's something that you needed to be there for and experience firsthand. As I prepared to depart for my next investigation site, an unexpected counter halted my steps. A solitary cell beckoning me with its foreboding aura. Stepping into the confining space, the heavy door sealed shut behind me, enveloping me in a chilling atmosphere charged with desolation and despair. The walls bore a haunting testimony to the torment that once inhabited this claustrophobic chamber. My eyes fixated on the remnants of countless scratches etched into the unforgiving surface, a tapestry of desperation and anguish carved by unseen hands. Some marks ran shallow, mere surface scars, while others cut deeply into the hardened walls, echoing the depths of despair that plagued its inhabitants. The sheer volume of scratches is a silent narrative etched into the very fabric of the cell. It left me unsettled, a heavy sense of disquiet settling over me like an oppressive shroud. The weight of this despair embedded within those walls was palpable, casting a shadow that lingered long after I left the confines of the cell. Reflecting on this experience, I couldn't shake the profound disturbance that had taken root within me. The visceral evidence of suffering preserved in those etchings spoke volumes about the haunting reality that once pervaded this grim enclosure. It was a harrowing encounter, one that pierced through the veil of time, leaving an indelible mark on my psyche, a stark reminder of the unfathomable depths of human suffering that echoed within Aradale's walls. My final destination within the haunted tapestry of Aradale led me to the staff quarters, a place frozen in time, where the atmosphere bore an uncanny resemblance to an abandoned hotel. It was as if the occupants had collectively walked away one day, leaving behind traces of their mundane lives. Remnants of everyday existence, like phone books and toothbrushes, still lingered in the rooms, heightening the eerie ambience that permeated this space. The staff quarters are a 3-story building with separate floors for men, women, and couples, housed communal rooms for dining and socializing. Summoning my courage, I ascended to the third floor, dedicated to the men. Random items adorned the space, showers draped in curtains, and open windows, allowing the wind to weave through the shredded fabric, adding an extra layer of unsettling ambience. I was hesitating at the threshold of these quarters. An inexplicable feeling crept over me, an anticipatory sense that someone might leap out at any moment. Yet driven by an inexplicable compulsion, I pushed through. Intrigued by the potential activity, I set up the laser grid, eager to witness its effects. However, as the night unfolded, the grid yielded no evidence. The air on the third floor felt thick, almost tangible, and through my heightened sense of clairsentience, I detected the presence of a male spirit. My friend shared the same perception, and realizing the spirit's disinterest in our intrusion, we decided to move on. Descending a floor to the women's quarters, I set up a makeshift investigation in one of the bedrooms, introducing spirit bowls and a spirit box. As the night deepened, my friend connected with a spirit named Emily, a curious entity intrigued by the scandalous notion of a male presence in her room. Despite my offer to communicate, Emily, reserved in nature, declined through the spirit box. Soon, another spirit, Margaret, made her presence known, silently observing from the doorway. As the hours wore on, fatigue and a sense of draining energy settled in. A ghostly hangover, you might say. Immersing oneself in the historical layers of such a location proved to be an emotionally taxing endeavor. Yet, despite the exhaustion, I felt an overwhelming gratitude for the experiences gained during the investigation. Connecting the spirits that still lingered within Aradale was a profound encounter, leaving an indelible mark on my paranormal journey. It left me yearning for more, a desire to unravel the secrets hidden within the shadows of the many historic buildings scattered throughout the Aradale site. This was an adventure I wished to embark upon again, to delve deeper into the mysteries that echoed through the corridors of this haunted institution. Listeners, I have an exciting surprise in store for you, so stay tuned. I'll be back after this short break. Welcome back, listeners, to our exploration of Aradale. Today I have the absolute pleasure of introducing a true luminary in the field, William Tabone, or as many know him, Bill. Bill is the visionary founder and primary investigator at the helm of the esteemed Australian Paranormal Society, working alongside his wife Amanda. But that's not all. Bill is also an accomplished author penning the enthralling Ghost of Aradale Asylum, a captivating read which is available on Amazon. His dedication to exploring the paranormal goes beyond investigations. He's a seasoned educator in the field, sharing his wealth of knowledge and experience with enthusiasts and investigators alike. For many of us passionate about the supernatural, Bill and Amanda's work with the Australian Paranormal Society served as an early beacon, guiding us through the mysteries of the unknown. Their contributions and insights have shaped and inspired countless within the paranormal community. So listeners, get ready for an insightful, intriguing conversation as we dive deep into the paranormal realm of Aradale with the remarkable William Tabone. Hi Bill, and welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you on.
Hey Ben, well that's a very big intro. Thank you so much for your kind words, my friend. We love the field, so yes, we try to provide education as well as research, and really looking forward to having a chat to you.
Okay, let's jump straight into it, Bill. What initially sparked your interest in the paranormal and led you to found the Australian Paranormal Society? Was there a specific experience or event that solidified your belief in the existence of the supernatural?
Well, I've always had a deep interest, almost a driving force towards the paranormal, towards all things unknown or mysterious, ghosts, werewolves, vampires, whatever it was when I was a child was really interesting to me. I did have experiences, nothing major, but enough to pique my interest. But in reality, I believe that some people are really drawn to the field for whatever reason that might be, and we might not even know at the time. I believe that's what's happened to myself and even Amanda. Some people are just meant to be in the field, and I feel that's how I am. And really, I love the field. I love the exploration is the way I look at it, as being explorers into a world really yet to be uncovered.
And I totally agree. There's an inherent joy in being an explorer, venturing into the unexplored realms where the boundaries of what we know blur into limitless possibilities of what we might discover. That's where my passion truly lies as well. Your book, Ghosts of Aradale Asylum, offers a captivating insight into your experiences there. What inspired you to focus specifically on this location for your book?
Why Aradale indeed, my friend? Aradale is absolutely amazing location. It has I've spent a great deal of time in there, even weekends. We on 4 or 5 occasions, maybe even more. We spent weekends being locked in there, and really just the place is amazing. There's so many stories, experiences that we've had. There was notebooks and notebooks, and plenty of documentation of what we've experienced, that I thought it's too much here not to put it together and not to present it to the world. The book itself is some of the experiences, not all of them, because there just was way too many, but probably some of the more interesting ones, some of the darker ones, some of the lighter ones. It's anyone that gets a chance to go to Aradale Asylum, please do. It really is an amazing place. It draws you there. Once you've been there a few times, you're drawn back. It's really a strange feeling. It calls to you, and it, beckons you come back, putting it in theatrical terms, I suppose. But the experience of being there during the day and then seeing how the location changes at night, how the darkness creeps in and the atmosphere changes completely. It is an extraordinary location. There is just so much activity for people to experience. And the book itself tells you as I said, some of the good and some of the bad, some of the really weird, and experiences that we've had and people close to us have had. So not just random people that we don't know. These are people that I trust, and they've given us their time to tell us their stories. So along with ours, it really is a compelling book, and really, really is a drive for people to go and visit this location. The Erie Tours are the guys who run the tours there. Jump on them and go and experience the amazing location, my friend.
I agree. The way the darkness creeps in and the energy takes hold is something that you need to experience firsthand. In the halls and rooms of Aradale, my exploration led to unexpectedly emotional encounters. I connected with spirits like Daniel, who was a patient, Gloria, a nurse, and Gary, who was a guard. Bill, have you in your investigations encountered spirits such as these? Individuals seemingly lingering in the spaces that they once inhabited?
Absolutely, Ben. Mm, On many, many occasions and many different spirits. One of during our investigations or public investigations, we do all sorts of different experiments with people. And in one case, we were in the female ward, for example, and we had a nurse who was with us, and she connected to one of the matrons that were there, and it was really emotional for her. She broke down in tears. The emotions hit her in waves. She was quite moved and very, very emotional, or what of a better word. Yeah, in one case, I mean, in other cases, I've had spirits come and hold my hand. Amanda's experienced spirits asking for help. So you get these spirits that want to contact with you, and you can't but help feel their emotions. So it can be emotionally draining, or really can, or emotional overload, for want of a better word. But that's with the paranormal all over. You need to learn how to control the energy you're receiving. And, there's different ways to do that. And, this is all part of the education of teaching people how things not necessarily should be done, but how they can do things to help them. See, I believe in people finding their own way, but I believe in the older people, the people that've been around a long time, more experienced people, guiding the younger or the newer people. And I believe the newer people should ask for help, contact people who've been around a long time, like us old timers. Well, next this January coming, it will be 38 years in the field for me since my first investigation. And, I have people all the time asking and for guidance for, not necessarily how things should be done, but, what's my thoughts on, or, what would I do? And, I try to tell them how I do things, and it might be different from everyone else in the field. So my teachings, or when I teach, or when I guide people, it's very much geared to how we do things in the Australian Paranormal Society rather than the paranormal in general. Everyone has their own way of doing things. And I find that, if I'm teaching how I do things, and, making them aware that there is other options and other ways to do things with other people, or way other people have found to do things, it's very helpful. But yes, with the experiences in Aradale, the emotions can really be overwhelming, and that's where experience comes in. But then again, I've seen experienced investigators be absolutely overcome, and it depends on a whole bunch of factors. How those people are, doing that day that they're in the asylum, the energy itself. Sometimes it's heavier and harder, or sometimes it's lighter. And, you never know what people in their daily lives are going through. So they carry these emotions in with them, and things can hit them very hard. But you're right. It can be emotional when connecting with spirits, especially ones that have been there for a long time.
And that's something I've spoken about before. Like each person has their unique method. And for me, it's about synthesizing wisdom from various sources. I like to gather bits and pieces from each, shaping my own path based on what resonates and works best for me. And I feel incredibly fortunate to be surrounded by veterans, so to speak, in the field who continue to guide and share their knowledge with me and pass it on. Because that's what it's all about, building a community. Bill, what message or insight would you like to share with our listeners today who are fascinated by the paranormal and seek to deepen their understanding of it?
Well, I suppose there's a lot of messages I could put out there, but for people that are wanting to explore more, or, open up their mind more, create opportunities to understand, what the paranormal is, or the supernatural, whatever you want to call it. The thing is, as I said earlier, don't be afraid to approach people that have been in the field longer than yourself. Some will be accepting, some, might not even get back to you. And you'll have others that, may appear rude, but, it is depending on how people are traveling on each day. So ask questions, constantly learning, reading books and documents that from people that have gone before you. Unfortunately, I find in the field a lot of people want to rush into becoming, to being recognized as experts. And I don't believe in the word expert in this field. I believe in people with a lot of experiences. You can be an expert in photography, or an expert in sound engineering, or, that sort of thing. But where the paranormal is concerned, we really are still learning, and we're all in it's all in the infancy, really. No matter how long this has been going on for, we know very little. So speak to people that have had more experience than you, and learn, constantly learning. Never think you know everything. Don't let your ego put you in positions where, you're going to get yourself in a situation. Be open, learning, gentle, open to learning, yeah, gentle, and don't be afraid to ask. I'm still learning every day. I'm literally looking at different ways to learn myself and how I can do things. And sometimes, that doesn't mean having all the newest gadgets. Sometimes it means finding the old ways and reinventing the old ways, how we do things before we had all these electronics. And that was my time, like, uh, bells on doors and on door handles and, talcum powder and, rice paper on the ground or something like that, where we could monitor any sort of unusual activity. Use your senses and your six senses. You are the best tool. If you're not focusing on a piece of equipment, you're more likely to see something or experience something in the environment of where you're investigating. So yeah, go for it and be open minded.
Thanks, Bill. I love that advice, and I agree. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment with technology, and look, yes, it's an amazing tool, but so are our senses. Sometimes we need to be reminded to just stop and take a step back and be in that moment and to just feel. Lastly, before you go, what's next on the horizon for you and the Australian Paranormal Society?
Well, Ben, if I tell you, I'm going to have to kill you. Nah, only joking. We have a lot on the agenda. We have a lot of big things happening. So look, as they say, watch your space. There's a lot more happening in education with us. We're opening a studio, if you want to call it, where we can have small groups in and teach people everything from different ways of conducting paranormal investigations to astral traveling to past life regression. There's a lot happening with that, and there's a lot happening elsewhere. So we have a lot of events, a lot of research planned, more books. We have several books, more books written that are ready to go. We just got to refine them and release them on the right times. And yeah, just really keeping the momentum up from, we were slowed down by COVID, I was slowed down by an injury at my last job for actually slowed me down for 2.5 years. It really made it difficult for me to do anything in the paranormal apart from research and study and guide people over the internet and the phone. But I'm back. So, we've got a lot of big things happening. And so keep an eye on our page, the Australian Paranormal Society, and we will be, putting everything up really soon. So that's where we're at. And I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Let's make 2024 a big one. And Ben, thank you so much for having me on, mate. This opportunity has been brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. It's been my absolute pleasure and privilege to have you on today's show. And it sounds like it's going to be a big 2024 for all of us. And listeners, remember to head over to the Australian Paranormal Society on Facebook and check out what Bill and Amanda have upcoming. Reflecting on my journey through the Aradale Asylum, I'm struck by the overwhelming emotional depth of the experience, as this was very unexpected. Each step within those haunted halls was laden with emotions: empathy for the tormented spirits, sorrow for the injustices endured, and a deep connection to the untold stories etched into the very walls of the asylum. Encountering spirits like Daniel and Gloria that transcended the boundaries of time, forging connections with me that moved beyond the spectral, their silent narratives laden with pain and resilience, echoed through the ages, leaving an emotional imprint that still reverberates within me. But amidst the emotional whirlwind, there was a profound sense of honor in giving voice to these silent souls, acknowledging their struggles and ensuring that their stories, though very tragic, are not forgotten. Listeners, as I conclude this exploration, I'm reminded that the paranormal isn't just about ghosts and hauntings. It's about the human experience, the triumphs, the tragedies, and the emotional echoes that reverberate through the corridors of history. This emotional odyssey through Aradale Asylum has left an ineffable mark on my being, a testament to the power of emotions in the realm of the unexplained. Thank you for joining me on this latest episode, and until next time, this has been an Eerie Enigma Paranormal with Ben production. Share your captivating paranormal tales with me to feature on upcoming episodes. Connect with me on Facebook, YouTube, or Spotify. Eerie Enigma Paranormal with Ben. Your stories are waiting to be told.